Good morning, gorgeous. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Michelle Dapp, and I'm so happy that you're here. Today, we are talking about marriage, and we're continuing our series, His Crown, about how you can be a beautiful crown to your husband, the one that really brings the warmth, the love, the femininity, the elegance, and the power of love into your marriage. And today we're talking specifically about how you can bring kindness into your marriage. And I am so happy that so many of you ladies have been listening to this content, watching this content, and your lives have been changing. Your marriages have been changing because you are really implementing these things, and the power of God is just really permeating through your life. So I'm so grateful for all of your support, and I'm so happy that you're taking these things in and really making a change in your marriage. So one thing I do want to ask is that you ladies, please pray for me. When I do content like this that is really making serious changes in your life with regard to marriage specifically, I do find that I come under a lot more spiritual attacks, and your prayers really do help me with that. If you don't see me on here for a while, it's probably because I'm going through something. If I don't tell you, I'm taking a break. And that means that I just need you to pray for me, because your prayers really do make a difference. And they really help me to have the spiritual energy and the voice to be able to speak into your lives and speak into your marriages. So thank you for that. And now let's go ahead and talk about how you can bring kindness into your marriage. Go ahead and sit back, relax, get something to drink, get something to write with, and let's talk about this. Now, a helpful word from today's sponsor, BetterHelp. As you are on your way to becoming the woman you know you've always desired to be, do you feel like there are some things that are holding you back? Are you aware that there may be some things interfering with your happiness? Well, having someone to talk to about how you're feeling can help you on your road to rediscovery. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. Starting therapy can be hard. The right therapist for you may not be in your area. And some people find the face-to-face interaction of therapy uncomfortable. With BetterHelp, you can have your therapy sessions as a phone call, as a video chat, or even via messaging if you prefer that. Whatever is the most comfortable version of therapy for you. To get started, you fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs. Then you will get matched with your therapist, in most cases within 48 hours or less. If the therapist you're first matched with doesn't feel like the right fit, which can be common when starting therapy, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without stressing about insurance, who is in your network, or anything like that. If you think you might benefit from therapy, consider BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Dr. Michelle. Clicking that link helps support this channel, and you will also get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp, so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. Thank you so much, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video today. So the other day, I was taking a walk with my son, pushing the stroller, and as I was walking, I found someone's wallet. And I just picked it up, and I saw it was a young man. I saw that he had all of his bank cards in there. He had money, lots of valuable items in his wallet. And I thought, oh dear, what should I do? Should I just leave it on the floor? Should I take it to a police station? Like, what do you do when you find someone's wallet? Should I drop it in the mailbox? I know that's not a good idea, because who's going to pay for the postage? So I thought, okay, let me deal with this later. I took care of what I had to take care of with my son. And then afterwards, I thought, okay, Lord, what do you want me to do? So I looked through his wallet and I saw that he had a certain bank that was nearby. So I thought, okay, the bank would be able to pull up his account and call him and let him know that his wallet has been found, because he's probably extremely stressed out right now looking for his wallet. So that's what I did. I thought about mailing it to the address on his ID, but instead I took it a step further and went to the bank to see if we could get this resolved immediately. I want to tell you that I did not want to do this. I was so busy that day. I had someone that was going to help me with my son for a couple hours, which is a huge luxury, and I did not want to waste that time taking care of this. I just felt like, why did I have to find this, right? But the bank was able to call the man. I was able to hear his voice because I was there still. He was so grateful. He thought it was the kindest thing for me to take the time to go and do this so that he could get his wallet. He was extremely stressed, and this really blessed him, and he praised the Lord. He was so overjoyed, and I felt really blessed to be able to help him in that way. But again, I did not want to do it. And in the moment, I was like, why did God allow me to find this wallet? Well, he allowed me to find it for a reason, because he knew that I was going to go the extra mile and give this man his wallet back, and he would get the glory for it. So a lot of you in your marriages are with your husbands and you're with him day to day and you don't feel like doing things. And sometimes you think, why me? Why did I have to marry this person? I don't feel like doing these nice, kind things for him. I don't feel like showing him kindness when he's not showing me kindness. I don't feel like putting in the effort when I'm not happy. But in the same breath, the Lord gave your husband to you for a reason. You specifically for a reason, because of what you are going to bring into his life. That is a blessing to him to have you. It's so interesting that we can be so kind to other people, to strangers, to our coworkers, to people on the internet that we don't know. But when it comes to our own husbands in the home, we don't exercise kindness. We don't go the extra mile. We don't think of him and spontaneously do things that are going to make him smile. And why is that? Because of how we normally feel. Unappreciated, tired, irritated, just in the same routine. We don't stop and think about what we're really doing. And selfishness. But one thing we have to remember is that marriage is not just a cohabitation. He's not just your roommate. Marriage is a covenant. It's a binding, legal, spiritual contract with God. Your marriage holds so much more value than just you living your life with this man. It's spiritual, and it's personal, and it's deep. It's a covenant that's modeled after God's covenant with us. And we have to remember that the Lord came and sent his son, Jesus, who is God, to serve. He came to serve us. And in that same breath, we are here to serve our husbands. Like, why should God, the Lord, the creator of the heavens and the earth, serve us when he is God? And you may think, yeah, why should I serve my husband? I'm the queen. I should be being served, right? So what does it mean to be kind? To be kind is not the same thing as being nice. The actual definition of being kind is the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. Friendly, generous, and considerate. It's you taking the time to think of someone else outside of yourself at any given moment. In marriage, a lot of times we end up being selfish. We end up feeling like it's a transactional relationship where if you're not getting, then you're not giving. And instead of us taking the time to think about what our husband needs or what he would appreciate or what you would appreciate, we don't. And some of us are actually mean, resentful, bitter wives. We're in our marriages, but we're actually trying to find little ways to hurt our husbands because we're upset or we're boggled down with responsibilities or we've been hurt by him in some way. So we're actually finding sneaky little ways to get back at him. And this is one thing that you do have to pray about because it does require a heart posture that is molded after God. There's no way you can naturally just be kind all the time on your own accord. It's not human nature. But that's why these things are the fruit of the Spirit. They are things that the Holy Spirit, who is God, who lives inside of you, is bringing out of you. You're not doing it on your own accord by yourself. You're doing it with the help of God. So here are a couple ways that you can show kindness in your marriage. And again, it's going to depend on your personal marriage, who you're married to, the circumstances of your marriage, but you can find ways to show kindness on purpose. On purpose. One of the most simple ways that you can show kindness to your husband is by being attentive to him, is by choosing to be listening to him when he speaks, stopping what you're doing when he enters a room, and showing that you are available. You're available emotionally, you're available physically, but just being open to his presence. There are times where your husband may walk into a room and you're cooking or you're cleaning or you're working and you don't even look up at him. You don't acknowledge his presence. But every time that you see him, you acknowledge him. You smile at him, you ask him a question, you're there for him. If he wants to come and talk to you about something, you stop what you're doing and you give him your undivided attention. If you notice that your husband is a little bit stressed or he's acting a little irritable or moody, you address it. You show kindness by noticing things. If you are noticing that he's not being himself, you ask if everything's okay. You ask him if there's something that you can do to help. You notice that he's different and you find a way to try to help. Offering a listening ear is not always convenient, and it's definitely not preferred sometimes, especially if you really are in the middle of something. But this is you going outside of yourself to be his wife, to offer him something no one else can really offer him. That true companionship, that love, and the ability to be able to listen without judgment. I don't know how it is where you live, but here in California, being kind or being friendly is really important. Like when you walk into a store, as soon as you walk in, they ask you, how are you today? How are you doing? Welcome. You're greeted with kindness, and that just makes the experience more pleasant. And it's something that stores actually care a lot about when it comes to customer service. And typically when you go to check out, they'll ask, what was your experience like? Did someone help you? They want to know through surveys and feedback, what was your experience with this company? If I asked your husband, what is his experience with you like? What would he say? Would he give you a 10 out of 10? Would he give you a 2? What would his experience be like if he had to express it to someone else? Would it be mostly positive? Would he say he wished he would have never married you? What is his experience with you on a day-to-day basis? This is something I want you to think about and consider. I don't want you to beat yourself up or just be so regretful or ashamed of your behavior, but I want you to consider the fact that he is experiencing you. You do make the marriage what it is with your personality, with your behavior, with your attitude. What is his experience like with you? Kindness is something that we have to cultivate at a moment-to-moment basis. For example, if you're making your food and you make it all beautiful and then you make another one for him and his falls all out of place, or there's not enough vegetables for the two of you, or whatever it is, there's just some imbalance between the two dishes. What do? Do you take the nicer one? Or will you say, you know what, I kind of screwed this one up. I'm going to give my husband the good part, the part that's not burnt. Right? Those small little things. If you have a beautiful pastry and you're enjoying it and it's so delicious, do you just gobble it all up? Or do you think, my husband might like this. Let me just save a piece for him. Or if you're out in the store and you're getting yourself a cup of coffee, do you think, let me get a cup of coffee for my husband? Or is it only about you? Do you take time to pause and say, what about my husband? That is kindness. It's you being generous and loving and friendly and going outside of yourself to say, how can I bless him today? And when you do that and he appreciates it, it feels so good. Like when I make my food and I make his all perfect and he comes down and he sees it and he goes, wow, that makes me feel really good. Like you do get blessed through this kindness. When he notices that there's something that has put time into and effort and work and consideration and he says thank you, or you notice him enjoying it or just making his life a little easier on him, it feels really good. And even if he doesn't, there is always an audience of one, and that is God. He's always watching you. He's always saying, oh, I see what you did there. Okay. He sees even if no one else does, because he's looking at your heart, what's on the inside of what you're doing. It's a beautiful thing when you're able to show kindness by giving your husband what he wants, not what you think he wants or what you think he should want or what you would want, but what you know he actually wants. Maybe your husband doesn't care so much about having grand dinners, but he cares a lot about having the living room clean. So you taking the time to clean the living room and order fast food, that's fine for him. Then do that. But don't get upset and say, but I cooked you this grand meal and all you can talk about is how the living room is a mess. Well, he cares about the living room a lot. And when you study your husband and you know what he cares about, then you can show kindness by doing things for him in that area, in the area that he appreciates, and not being upset when he doesn't see the beauty and the value in the things that you see beauty and value in. You're both very different, but it shows that you consider him and you care about what he cares about, and that means a lot to him. You can also show kindness to your husband by loving yourself when he doesn't love himself. There are times where men go through things in life where they need you. They need you as his wife to be their affectionate person, to hug them, to hold them, to listen to them without judgment, to just be there, to show him love when he's being hard on himself. Maybe he made a mistake at work. Maybe he got fired. Maybe he got reprimanded for something. Maybe he made a big financial decision that was a disaster. You showing him love and encouraging him and say, you know what, babe, it's okay. We all do stuff like that. You'll bounce back. Speaking life into him. Loving him so much when he is destroying himself and praying for him. Loving him when he doesn't love himself is a beautiful way to show your husband kindness. Another way that you can show kindness to your husband is not being judgmental towards him. So giving him the benefit of the doubt. A lot of men get really frustrated when their wives believe things are not true or assume the worst of them. But when you are able to not be judgmental, if he tells you some secret from the past, or if he tells you a way that he messed up, or something that he did that he knows was wrong, or if he just tells you something or does something, and instead of seeing the worst, you actually see the best in him, that is a way that you can show him kindness. You don't have to be like the rest of the world. You can see him for the way that God sees him, not the way the world sees him. And when something does happen, just not assuming the worst, giving him the benefit of the doubt, not assuming things and jumping to conclusions, but taking the time to say, well, I'm sure that's not what it really was. I'm sure he didn't really mean that. Thinking of him in the most positive way will allow him to see himself in a better light and show true love and kindness. Another way that you can show kindness to your husband is by giving him more sex. Men love sex. And it's a beautiful way for them to be able to connect with you, express things within themselves that they cannot tell you, and just bring you pleasure and happiness. So if you want to be more kind to your husband, you will give him more sex. You will be more open to it. You will not, push out his advances, but welcome them. And do things that you know he really enjoys in those intimate moments. That is a beautiful way for you to show kindness to your husband. And I will leave you with one last tip, and the rest will be on my podcast. So if you are not subscribed to my podcast, then you can find me at the Dr. Dap Show, and you can listen to the rest of this episode where I will have a few more tips and just some other little things I want to tell you. But the last way that you can show kindness to your husband is being whoever he needs in that moment. Many men are really closed off emotionally and have a very difficult time accessing their feelings and knowing what they need in any given moment. You can show kindness to your husband by being a friend when he needs a friend, being a sibling when he needs a sibling, being a mother when he needs a mother, being a wife when he needs a wife, but knowing in each moment what he needs. Maybe he does not need you to scold him. Maybe he does not need your advice. Maybe he does not need you to just let whatever it is slide. Whatever he needs in that moment, being open to being that person and allowing him to express himself and be free with you. Allowing him to be able to pull from you what it is he needs in that moment. And the only way to really know that is by talking to God. and asking the Lord, okay, what should I say? How should I be in this moment? Because you're not literally saying, okay, I'm going to be his mama right now. Don't you ever do, no. It's not like that. It's just the qualities, maybe the nurturing aspect or the ability to be able to just sit back. Whatever it is that he needs, God will show you how to do it. But being open to being malleable and pliable and flowing with him and not saying, okay, I'm his wife, and so I have to say this. Do whatever he needs you to do in that moment. So ladies, I hope that this was really helpful to you in helping you to be your husband's crown, to be the beautiful, feminine, gorgeous wife that he married, the wife that God gave to him as a gift. I hope that this was helpful to you. And again, if you want to learn more, then listen to my podcast, The Dr. Daf Show, and look for this episode, and there will be more details there. I love you so much, and I pray that your marriage is blessed in every single way. Until next time, my loves, remember that in all things you do, make a feminine impression. Bye-bye.